been our practice. There was some wonderings if then it had to go to the board. So that is not how it was intended and or interpreted. But I struck those words, and I think it's a technical edit that doesn't substantively change the policy anyway. It's the high school principal, us the superintendent. We carry out those policies. We make sure that they have all the credits they need before they graduate.
Yep.
Chairman, do you want us to strike down the first motion and do a second one, to accept the second draft?
That
Or do you just want to amend to accept the second draft?
I think either way.
Who made the motion? Could she withdraw the motion?
Sure.
Okay, so that motion. Okay, so do you want to withdraw the motion?
I'll withdraw.
Okay. Okay, so then, could I have a motion to approve BOE policy 6710 as amended regarding graduation requirements? We have a motion by Ms. Makowski. Do we have a second? And a second by Ms. Grant. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? That motion passes. That then brings us to new business. And our first item is bid award out of district transportation for students with disabilities.
So briefly, what we have, we went to bid. You'll see that Bernice put together and is available if, should you have any questions, a really nice comparison of the memo with the average daily rate of our current provider, Kids Wheels. They did not provide a bid. This is for our transportation for students who require out-of-district transportation, students who have IEPs. We had 3 other bids. The average daily rate, you could see, is close to 300, 260, 261. Due to the increase, Bernice researched and is recommending that we join a consortium for this type of transportation through ACES. It's a reduced rate, an average of 137. It also results in improved efficiencies because they work with 3 bus companies. We're hoping it would minimize daily parent calls and concerns. And right now they get excellent recommendations in customer service. So we're proposing, that is what we're proposing, and we're asking for a motion to approve that. And actually, Mr. Chair, you'd have to, if you don't mind reading the motion.
Yep.
I'm logged in
Yeah.
publicly.
Could I have a motion to join the ACES Regional Special Education Transportation Consortium to provide out-of-district transportation for students with disabilities for the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023? We have a motion by Mr. Scully. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second by Mr. McCool. Any discussion?
So is there any, so obviously this is for, thank you for anticipating where I'm going.
I think so. The downside is we partner with other districts and it could result in a little longer bus run. Correct, Bernice?
Correct. So this is ride sharing. So it's possible if there is another student in a closed town, they will be on the same van. However, they're very careful about timing. So they make sure that the runs are not long. They work with the special education staff very closely. And we do have the opportunity to request sole transportation if that is what we think is better.
And I think sometimes that's where additional costs may apply.
What about any other commitment by joining the consortium? That will tie into anything else?
No, it's not like some of the oil ones. This is pretty much, you can join at any time. We don't have to do it by midnight tonight or like some of the oil folks.
And my recommendation is to do it for by joining this consortium. Hello? By joining this consortium, it doesn't lock the price in for additional years. They go out to bid every year for the transportation. So they don't have a locked in cost for the future years. Correct. Correct.
And then we would be able to have actuals at the end of the year to make a determination moving forward. Or at least 3/4 of the year when we would have to make the decision for the following year.
Correct. And special education transportation is an account that we frequently have an unfavorable variance with. So the hope is with lowering these costs, we can stay at our budgeted amount.
Good. Thank you, Bernice. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions?
Can I just say that as the ACES representative, they did announce this at ACES that we would be joining them, and they are thrilled because they're, to keep down costs. They've been recruiting other areas to join in with them on the consortium, and they're having really good luck, and it is a cost saver. So, thank you.
Thank you. So that then brings us to bid award, Food Service Management Company.
You can stay there. Before, first, let me apologize when I was thinking, and I didn't mean to be rude. I was prepping for the next agenda item. Bernice, I have displayed, if you could walk us through the memo that you wrote and what we're asking the board to do.
Sure. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Is this okay? Okay. So we went out for bid. It was time to go out to bid for our food service management contract. It's a wonderful experience. It's completely run by the state. The actual RFP was approximately, I don't know, 400 pages long. The bids that we received were over 500 pages long, all requirements by the state. And my committee was Mrs. O'Donnell and Mrs. Cooney and myself. So we analyzed, we got 3 bids. SFE Food Service, they are from the Southwest, Chartwell's and Sodexo. So we were happy that it was the first time that we had additional bids so that we can see a comparison to what the bids would provide us. So SFE Food Service, their submission was disqualified. They were non-responsive in the omission of one of the requirements that the state has. They had to provide 3 administrative overview reports. Those are reports from the state. They could have provided it, whatever they called theirs over out in the Southwest. And we get reviewed by the state in many areas. And so they had to provide 3 of them, and they did not provide that. So they were automatically disqualified. Chartwell's put a bid in as well. Their bid was technically disqualified because the bid submission could result in significant labor and management issues. So let me explain. One of the items in our RFP was that the employees of the cafeteria are our employees. They are employees of the Board of Ed. They are members of the union here. We do not want to change that. We didn't ask for them to change it. In the bid, it was clear that they were going to take our hourly employees and put them on Chartwell's payroll. That's not something we ask, nor something we want, nor something we could do. I saw this. Mrs. O'Donnell reviewed the contract in detail. Mrs. Cooney reviewed it. We then had Mr. Lawler review it to make sure that we interpreted it correctly. And then I reached out to Attorney Fitzpatrick so we can get a legal opinion on it. And he read it exactly the same way. That is how they are submitting the bid. So we cannot go with Chartwell's because we did not ask for that and we don't want to do that. There were a couple other things in the bid. Chartwell's did have a annual profit guarantee like Sodexo. Their annual guarantee was slightly higher at $129,033. However, it was going to be achieved by adding 2.5 additional administrative staff for about $100,000 cost. And that was going to be paid for by their estimate of about $400,000 additional a la carte sales, meaning Now, we're a full CEP district, so our children get free lunch. Let's say the kids are still hungry, they want to buy another piece of pizza, that's a la carte, so they have to pay for that. So they were also forecasting what the committee felt was an unreasonable increase in a la carte sales. So it would be very difficult to maintain that. So the third bid was Sodexo, and they included a $120,000 annual profit guarantee. They reduced their administrative costs. Their current profit guarantee is $20,000. So it's a good increase. That money has to go directly back into expenses for the cafeteria. So it could be an offset of electricity or anything that's used in the cafeteria that's not directly purchased by the cafeteria. So at this time, we recommend that the bid be awarded to Sodexo.
Thank you, Bernice. Could I then have a motion to award that food service management company contract to Sodexo for the period of 1 year, July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, with the option for 4 additional 1-year renewals? We have a motion by Mrs. Malone. Do we have a second? And a second by Mr. Scully. Any discussion?
I would just say that I've, of all the complaints I get about the district, the food service is probably the third highest. And from the pictures that I see at many of our different schools, the quality of food that we get through our Sodexo contract is abysmal. And I would implore us to find a better food service by the end of this contract for our district.
Any other discussion?
When we budget out, we end up with a zero every year. We still going to have that zero? That it's going to cost $2 million and we're going to,
It's not going to change up or down.
Right now, we net at a $20,000 profit. We're going to net now at a 120. So it is going to be zero with a guaranteed profit of 120. I think I'm answering that question correctly.
I didn't ask it correctly.
No.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
yeah,
It's really loud.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
And any abstentions? That motion passes with Mr. McCool voting no. That then brings us to the bid award, Fire Protection Life Safety Company.
Or ask for a motion. But prior to asking for the motion, we went out to bid for this. Siemens is the current provider. Siemens was the low bidder. We received 2 bids, as the memo states, one far less than the other. Siemens does build in some increases ongoing across the years. However, it's still far less than Encore Fire Protection.
Okay. Can I have a motion to award the Fire Protection Life Safety 3-year contract to Siemens commencing July 1st, 2022?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. McCool. Do we have a second?
seconded.
And a second by Mr. Scully. Any discussion?
Exactly what is this? The district fire protection?
This is everything related to fire alarms, sprinklers, anything that, fire extinguishers and the like. So anything like that.
Okay, good, you're off.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? And any abstentions? That motion passes. That brings us to BOE Policy 8011, Code of Ethics as proposed. This is not a vote, this is a first read. This is our revised Code of Ethics that we had a workshop regarding. So this will be as a vote for our next meeting. So it's for a review. Which then brings us to approval of the minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 7th, 2022, regular monthly Board of Ed meeting? We have a motion by Ms. Makowski. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
And a second by Mr. Scully. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? And any abstentions? That motion passes with Mr. Solozzi abstaining. That brings us to communications, and our first communication, as you all know, since we do set the graduation date, high school graduation is set for June 15th at 6 p.m. on the football field. And then our next communication is the City Hill Stepping Forth ceremony, which takes place at the City Hill Field on Monday, June 13th at 6 p.m. with a rain date of Tuesday, June 14th at 6 p.m. And that brings us to a bid waiver. Does anyone have any questions on the bid waiver?
Yes.
So bid waivers are going to be a part of what we do. They're permitted via policy. This is a portion of the work that we were doing to repoint the leaks at City Hill. And we're going out to bid for the remainder of the school. So as an emergency, we're going to do a few sections, and then we're going to go out to bid. We are using the company that was a previous low bidder to brickwork previously. Doesn't mean they would be here. So we stopped. That's actually why if you could see some white out because it was the full amount. We stopped for the smaller area and are going to go out to bid or get multiple quotes for the remainder of the project from companies. So, yeah. First choice always is multiple quotes, and if we have to do a bid waiver, we'll bring it to you. Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
I asked if this included the clocking of the windows, but it doesn't seem to, because are they cleaning around the window area?
It's the window and the brickwork itself. So it's the whole side of the building.
All right, because with these cleaners, sometimes they pull the clocking right out of the windows too. So that have to be checked also. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, that brings us to adjournment. Could I have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion by Mr. Scully. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? We are adjourned at 7:34.